And welcome in to a post-game show edition of Motor City Metrics. Probably a little bit closer of a win than I think any of us wanted for a Bobby Witt-less Royals team, but that's all right. I am Mike Papchak, along with Chris Brown and Ashley here. You can find us anywhere you can find your podcasts. And we just feel like we went almost all season. I feel like we never had a game on Thursday. This is like the third or fourth week in a row that we're like recording after a game. It's weird. I got used to not doing this, but let me tell you, my emotions roller coaster today. When they went down, I literally was just like, I don't want to do the show if they lose to this Royals team right now. Like that was the mood I was feeling. So, but they got the win, and how you guys doing?
All good. It was a flawless victory. I see no problems.
Right.
A win is a win.
Yeah.
Like a win is a win. Honestly, I'll take it.
Well, I mean, this close to the trade deadline, which obviously is going to be something we're going to spend at least a decent amount of time on today. Was it 9 days? I think
That sounds right. Yeah, August 3rd.
August 3rd. That'd be 9 days. We got 9 days left.
There's 8 more.
10 days, 8 days. It's somewhere around there. Every game kind of matters between now and then. It's going to kind of decide. They lose the next 3 against this Royals team. You hate to say that one game or a couple games make that much difference, but they lose the series of the Royals, you don't buy. You know what I mean? So every game matters.
No, they're effectively playing playoff baseball right now in terms of every single one of these games. You can't win them all unless you're Boston, apparently, but. They really are. Every single one has huge implications for what they do this year. And they keep finding ways to, heading to Chicago. That was a tough series. Chicago doesn't have much pitching right now, but to get a win there on the road, to get a road series win in Anaheim, where they always struggle, that's a bad team, but they still got the series win. And to start this one off with, a comeback win, thanks to James Outman, as we all predicted. It's good. It makes every win makes it seem more likely that they're going to stand pat or buy, and every loss makes it feel like the season's over.
It seems like it seems like they do have almost this momentum. They're actually fighting, or they seem to be fighting more in close games, right? And 1-run games or whatever. It seems like they're obviously doing a little bit better than they were at the beginning of the season. I could honestly see a scenario where they ended up being both buyers and sellers. That's kind of what I'm thinking is the most reasonable thing. Obviously, I think it'll depend a lot on the next 10 days or whatever, but I could see a scenario where they, sold and bought.
So I brought this up right before we went on. I actually do have a theory. I kind of think, and especially since he's been pitching pretty well as of late, I think if they can get a team to take Jack Flaherty, I think that with his salary, granted, it's kind of an inflated salary. I don't have his numbers directly in front of me. I think it's 50. I think he makes $15 million this year. But if they can get a team to bite on that, I think it would solve their kind of their jam at the starting pitching right now with a couple guys coming back, and it also sheds some salary while also not really you're not looking at the future of the starting pitching staff as being devastated because you lost Jack Flaherty, So I don't know what you guys think about that, but I've been thinking about this all week. It's just no matter what happens, whether they buy or sell, like you said, Ashley, even if they buy, I still can see a scenario where they still end up trying to trade Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, I don't think that's an unreasonable at all. It's hard again because they're so I feel like they're so unpredictable. They're so tight-lipped about everything. This might be, I don't know if this is a hot take. I don't know how other people feel about this. If they do end up trading Skubal, honestly, I think that this team without Tarik Skubal is good enough to make it through the American League, but not win a World Series. If they were to trade Skubal, they were to get a reasonable return, maybe somebody who is major league ready, or maybe, they make other acquisitions on top of trading Skubal. I could see a scenario where they are a good enough team to make it to, the ALCS possibly. But I think with or without Skubal, they're not winning a World Series. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, it would take one of those kind of wacky magical runs where suddenly everything's going right. I do like the idea of them trading. I mean, Flaherty would be ideal because he's making what 22, 23 million this year. 20 million? I don't remember if he's not on the qualifying offer yet, um I saw today, I think it was, that the Phillies are looking for like a number 5 starter. And Flaherty feels like a number 5 starter for like a legitimate World Series contender to me. So if they can find, and they've done a couple trades with the Phillies before, this front office, including getting How You Lead, who again came up with a big hit today. So that could be a match. I think you pursue. We just saw the Cubs. They need as much starting pitching as they could get. They have a bunch of upper level prospects who are not necessarily super, not 60 grade players or whatever, but they're guys who could probably help you even this year. And maybe you toss them Casey Mize, and you find a deal that. I mean, Mize is pretty inexpensive, but just thinking about there are ways to. I think they have to buy and sell to make this work, but I don't know. I've not seen them execute this sort of thing.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's ultimately what it is I've said this a lot. Just until they do something like that, I don't really know if I can believe that they will. But just kind of looking at the landscape, it just kind of makes all the sense in the world, I think. Someone did bring up. Flaherty's not eligible to come back till 2 days after the deadline. He can still be traded, but it does kind of complicate things. You're right.
You could trade injured players. I think the Tigers acquired Paul Sewald when he was injured last year, right? Like you could still trade him. Yeah. And in a situation like that, you might do a conditional trade, right? Where it's like we'll get this guy and a player to be named later, or cash, depending on, if he doesn't work out, if he gets hurt again, then you don't get the player to be named later, or you get a lesser player to be named later. There are always interesting conditional deals like that. The one I always hear about is I think it was the CC Sabathia trade, right? Where they traded him to Milwaukee, and they got a couple of big sluggers, and then one, they had their choice of, or there was possibly 2 players. And if the Brewers made the playoffs, they got one player, and if they didn't, they got the other one. And the Brewers made the playoffs, and that player was Michael Brantley.
Oh.
So, the other player was nobody.
Interesting. I don't remember that. That's.
I don't remember that either.
Well, and I love what Ninja Breeze. I mean, we do have to bring up the fact that they did get hosed, and Jake Rogers had 2 strikeouts in this inning. That was after Zach McKinstry just literally looked like he was playing catch up there. I think he threw one little fastball at 81, and then the rest of them were just 40 mile an hour. This game's over. Let's get this over with. But I mean, I did want to talk about the Cubs game really quick, just that first game in the Cubs series, because that baseball game had just about everything that you could want, good and bad. You saw some frantic fielding, you saw some clutch hitting, you saw some power, and just every inning was a nail biter. And that was one of the most fun games I think we've watched all year.
It definitely was.
Yeah, and you get certain doom, right? Kenley Jansen out there, bases loaded with 1 out, I think it was. They're this is not going anywhere. Gets an out, and then he's down 3-0. Alex Bregman, of all people. Alex Bregman's not going to expand the zone. And he comes back and he gets him. You're like, I can't believe it. And then the Tigers come and pull it out. It's games like that. Games like the first game in Anaheim where they get the big 2-out hit from How You Lead. Games like tonight. It has a tiny feeling in that regard of 2024, where they just are finding these ways to win. It doesn't feel as scrappy. Mm-hmm. It feels more like, oh dear God, thank you.
Right.
But like Ashley said, all these wins count. They all count. You bank them away. You forget about it. You go out there the next day. For as fun as that first game against the Cubs was, the second game was arguably the Tigers' worst game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a terrible effort on all sides. I think though Dingler came through at the end, right, to get him a run.
When does he not?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's got to legitimately be in the American League MVP conversations, right?
Oh, he absolutely.
I understand
does,
that Jordan Alvarez might win the Triple Crown, which will probably take precedence there. But
right,
this is Dingler's hitting incredibly well, and arguably the best defensive catcher in baseball. So
Well, yeah.
Something I love about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ashley. You're good.
I was just going to add a quick comment. Something I love about Dingler is I feel that none of his slumps last more than a week. This year and last year, really. Like, it's like maybe he might slump for, like a couple games, but it's never longer than a week, and then he's breaking again.
Yeah, so Dingler is 6th in FWAR among all position players in the AL. Maybe it was all. Oh goodness, I have this up somewhere. I have so many tabs. My apologies. But one of the big things, like that Langeliers got into the All-Star game, and the reason people were voting for him was because of the power. And then Dingler's turned on the power, and they have the same home run total right now. So I believe they both. Oh no, I think Langelier just passed him up again. Dingler's got 22, and he's got 23. But there was a wide gap, 4 weeks ago there. So I do think Dingler really needs to have it. He'll get MVP votes. A ton of guys get MVP votes at the very least.
Tyler Holton got an MVP vote in 2024. I think Dingler can get one this year.
That was an incredible year. He deserved that MVP vote. I love.
He did. Oh, he did. Yes, I'm not dissing.
So, the up to the second this year's WAR, Fangraphs lets you do live stats, including today. In the American League, Yordan Alvarez with 5.1, Dingler with 4.8 is number 2, just ahead of Bobby Witt at 4.7, and then McGonigal at 4.0. So, pretty good. Yeah, I don't know.
The guys we avoid talking about because we don't want to talk too much about them.
Yeah.
We used to we were going to put a Dingler counter up there just because we always talk about Dingler and consistency. But I mean, yeah, it really does come from the most unlikely places. It's been Outman. I mean, and they've been, like you mentioned, like Kenley Jansen, it does kind of feel almost like the Valverde years, and just that the ninth inning is going to be a roller coaster when your closer comes up. But I mean, we saw Finnegan get a save today after Drew Stummers started the ninth inning. And then the other day we also saw Tyler Holton get the first save of the year. So they're kind of just, it seems like they're literally just going, whoever AJ likes the best matchup with, you're going to do the ninth. And I don't really even know if anybody's going to get more ninth inning than the other, at least for a little bit right now.
I didn't notice, I guess, that Holton's numbers were as good as they were. Obviously, I think he's had the same issue as Finnegan has, the whip's a little high. But I mean, 2.93 ERA. I didn't I guess I thought he was somewhere in the 3 or the 4s. I didn't even realize that until they had put it up on the TV the other day. I was like, no shit.
Yeah. So I had something about this too. So since June 1st, since, the Tigers kind of turned things around, he's got 18 1/3 with 20 hits. He's only given up 2 earned runs with 1 homer, 2 walks, and 14 strikeouts. That's a .98 ERA, and the FIP is 2.94. So he's kind of, I mean, he's not that 2024 version. I don't think we will ever see that version of Tyler Holton again, who was one of the best, if not the best reliever in baseball that year. But we are seeing kind of shades of that at this point. The numbers are kind of lining up a little bit better. And I mean, granted, I think a lot of it has been in lower leverage situations. I mean, he had the chance to get the save the other night. So, I mean, he's just kind of building his trust up when it kind of seems like in the span of a week, a guy can go from his favorite guy to being, in the doghouse with the way the bullpen is.
And I think, well, first of all, I was kind of hoping that Big Sunshine would get the save tonight for his first save, but he could not get the job done. But yeah, the thing with relievers, right, is especially when they get off to a bad start, the ERA is just so elevated for so long because it's just small samples that it takes a long time for you to go, wait a minute, he hasn't really given up a run in 12 games. And I looked, Tyler Holton's BABIP this year is 324. And 2024 it was 204, which is super low. And last year it was 231. The year before it was 201 in 2024. 231 last year, 331 heading into tonight. So I don't know. Pitchers have some control over that, right? You're putting the ball on the plate a little too much, but he seems to be back to reliable, which is huge because there aren't a lot of people in this bullpen you could say that about.
Well, yeah, I mean. And if you guys saw the news on Birch Smith, I know he's not like a flamethrower or anything, but He threw 2 pitches in his rehab game, audibly yelled out of frustration, then stepped off the back of the mound, and he had to leave with another injury. So that's just another reinforcement that you think you're getting, which, I mean, with this bullpen, just any different face at some point kind of feels like a benefit. You're not getting that with him. It's just another guy, you know?
Yeah. Now, I do have a question, because there was another pitcher there in Toledo tonight who looked vaguely interesting in that he was throwing in the upper 90s and was getting strikeouts, and it's Gilbert Diaz. And I wonder if, Ashley, you know anything about him, because he spent 3 years in the Diamondback system.
You know what?
I know
do
you
know
have,
about Gilbert Diaz.
I know you dig, Justin Martinez and some of the other.
Oh yeah, I love Justin Martinez. He's actually going to be coming back soon. I think Gilbert Diaz, what I was told on him is that he's better than people think. That I think he's got really, really good stuff. He has really good makeup. He just has like kind of some kinks that he needs to work out. But I think with the Diamondback, if I remember correctly, I think what the case is like he had like one game with them. He got this year, I think, where he got hit around a lot. But then the Diamondbacks just DFA'd him to make room for somebody else. I think that's what happened. I think he's like a project, but he throws hard, he throws gas, and he has good stuff, is the scouting report I was given. I've actually never watched him. I will dig into him tonight, and I'll get back to you on that. But yeah, that's what I was told, is he's better than people think, and he'll be a fun project. So I'll have to watch him next time he pitches in Toledo.
Yeah, I mean, he's pitched a handful of times, but tonight was the first time I really dialed in. And yeah, it's an interesting kind of delivery, and there's almost like a little bit of like a K-Rod sort of short. I don't know how else to describe it, but like short and quick.
I'm gonna look him up.
But yeah, and I was just gonna go in because he was in Toledo. It's got Statcast, so I was gonna just take that real quick because we can. And that's what we do. We're metrics-based podcast.
Yeah.
That's what I'm checking right now. I wanted to see his arm action delivery.
Yeah, we're metric-based, and then I'm throwing out stats that are like, it just feels good, right? So, oh, man.
So, all right. So he was like 24 pitches tonight, 16 sliders and 4 four-seamers. Okay. Fastball got up, average 97.3.
Okay.
1 whiff on 1 swing on the fastball. 5 whiffs on 9 swings on the slider. Potentially useful player, I think.
Okay, so it looks like he's got like kind of like a shorter arm action, so like a reliever arm action. But it looks easy. Like it looks, the arm looks like an easy arm. Like he's not giving a bunch of effort. When I think effort, I think like and like I'm not saying anything bad when it comes to effort. I'm just saying he does it easy. If you think about somebody like Will Vest, who has a very like reliever-ish, he's giving it 100%. He's falling off the mound a little bit. Gilbert looks just very easy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, sorry. I was digging in. I was looking at his Baseball Savant Major League page. I'm like, oh, he threw 60% fastball this year, but I think he did pitch 1 inning. So
yeah.
2/3 of an inning. Yeah, it doesn't count. I was like, because they had him throwing 60% sliders tonight. Maybe they've made a change. It probably doesn't matter. Anyway, I believe he's on the 40-man roster, so it wouldn't shock me if we see him relatively soon.
And I mean,
it looks like he's get some swing and miss on the slider. The slider looks good. Actually, I'm watching video of it right now. Yeah, the slider looks good. Tighter.
If you're looking at other guys, I mean, we have Javi Baez taking a couple rehab starts. I wanted to ask you guys who you think he's taking the roster spot from, because the easy answer is Malgeri, but like they don't play the same positions like at all. So like I just thought that was kind of weird and worth at least talking about. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Who was it that you said?
Javi Baez.
Oh, Javi. Okay, my bad. I was watching a video and I was like, I can't multitask.
Well, it's interesting. So he's played shortstop in both of his games down in Lakeland. He's also been hit by pitches twice, because it's low A, and one of them was off the ankle today. That's not ideal. I thought he may come back up and just be kind of their center fielder for the most part. In which case, I still do think it's probably going to be Malgeri because they can't find spots for him. But yeah, if he comes up and it seems healthy, he can play center field. That might be it for Outman. despite his heroics every 8 game. He's a career like I think the last 3 years he's hitting like 150 at the big league level, which is you can't really do that even if you're Austin Hedges. But who's randomly hitting 280 this year or whatever. Because Cleveland. Right. But yeah, I would assume Outman or Malgeri for sure.
I'm glad that you brought it up because I know, like, yeah, we can be super happy that Outman just smoked that home run, but I kind of think that that's the only thing that does make sense. Is how he comes back, he becomes your center fielder, and I don't like that's James Outman has literally gotten play almost every day because he's the only guy that really plays center field in the whole roster. So I guess it makes sense to give Javi time to reacclimate to the roster, but it just especially when he hasn't and he made that error earlier in that Cubs series as well. Like he just had the base running error as well. They're just he's a roller coaster of a player. Like he's gonna hit you that home run and he's got that ability in center field, but he's gonna get picked off. He's gonna get caught stealing, and I'm kind of, to me, he is my new Jahmai Jones. He is now like the guy at the end of the bench I'm looking at that like, okay, now what do we do to turn over this guy? Which just shows you that that's how probably me and a lot of fans are going to feel about the last guy on the end of the bench right now. But he's kind of the guy I'm looking at right now. Like, all right, what do you actually provide for this team now?
Yeah,
I can see it.
I think, generally speaking, this front office doesn't like to get rid of guys unless they have to. So
right,
you're adding a guy to the 40-man or taking him off the 60-day, so you have to make space there. So it could just be a DFA of Outman. But if they can find another way, put somebody else on the 60-day, they love doing that, or trade somebody, then they'll probably just send Malgeri down because they can. He's got options. So
I was going to say, I feel like it would more than likely be a Malgeri, and looking at somebody in the comments, Outman is 100% here for the defense. So I guess my question then is like, what happens if Javi comes back? God forbid he gets hurt again. Then what? Then who plays center field if they get rid of Outman?
It's Max Clark season or Trey Cruz.
My thought on Max Clark was that they're probably waiting until September, I would assume, so he can keep that rookie status and still play every day.
Yeah, I think they could probably do that mid-August. They did that with Young and Sweeney 2 years ago, I think. But yeah, I think that generally speaking, the same idea, right? Like and they might wait a little bit longer if he is coming up to be the everyday center fielder, because you can do it service time and you can also do it by plate appearances and or at bats.
Let me just say, where else is he playing then? You want to take at bats away from Kevin McGonigal? Is that what you're saying? Fern DJ
I would
here?
think that Javi would play short, McGonigal will play third, right?
But then you're taking how you Lee at bats away when I don't know. It just seems, I just feel like it doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I don't agree with that at all. I believe he'll get more time in center field.
I think he'll play both. I think we'll see though.
Like he'll play where he's needed.
Yeah. I don't know. We haven't heard anything on Parker Meadows. It was like a broken arm, but I think it was like the wrist part that actually like turns, which is kind of tough if you break that when you're swinging a baseball bat. I feel like that's not a great thing to break. But I don't know. Yeah.
I was going to say with Javi too, I feel like it would depend on like what kind of defense they need at shortstop too, right? So like if you have somebody like Frember who's like a ground ball guy, they're probably going to put the better shortstop at short, and then they're probably going to put Kevin at third, I would assume. Just because I would assume Javi probably has a little bit more range than Kevin does. I feel like Hinch will do what he does now, right? Like he's strategic with kind of everybody.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of, McKinstry and Vierling are kind of, I don't know, just because they've been around for long, that they're kind of the guys for me. That I'm like, these guys still hanging out. Like, it's like with Outman, I'm like, he's fine. He was only good for one job. But at the same time, like, he's, I don't know how much longer they can deal with him, but it really would benefit the team to kind of figure out a way to not play the bad bats as much.
Yeah, it seems-
Also, in the comments, I do agree with Nick that they might play how I think if that's who you're talking about, how you Lee at second and then DH Glaber more. I actually agree with that. I could see that, especially with the injury.
Yeah.
Not that he necessarily gets injured at second base. Oblique is like a swinging injury, but
Yeah, but I mean, and Carpenter hasn't been hitting terribly well, and he's also a little bit banged up.
Javi.
So, well, yeah, Javi, he's played second base before, but I think he's gonna come up and probably be your best defensive shortstop. So,
yeah,
who knows? We could see anything. Yeah, it could be that with
I was
a righty-
thinking Lee at second, Javi at short, McGonigal at third, just to make sure we keep a bat in Lee's hands, especially if he's hitting like is it 368 or something in the last 348 in the last 7 days.
Yeah, the only knock is that his OBP, I think, is like 368, and that's him. And he's not drawing any walks. He had one today. Give him credit.
Yeah.
He had that walk today.
Well, I think I compared him in that regard to Dingler, maybe not on the show, but I think I did maybe on Twitter, because Dingler and Lee were both guys who typically ran like a 10% walk rate in the minors once they got settled. And Dingler came up and was just super aggressive, and he still is pretty aggressive, but his walk rate has gone up, I want to say 2-3% maybe this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same thing will happen with Lee is once pitchers know that you can, you're going to do damage if they throw strikes, then they get a little more cute, try to get you to chase more. And he's a guy who he doesn't chase a ton. Like he does
He
some.
didn't really in the minors either, did he?
Yeah. No, he's always stayed in the zone pretty well. Like he had a hole at the top of his swing on fastballs and sliders away and all that stuff. But yeah, so I think his walks will go up as he gets more comfortable in the big leagues. But he's an awful lot of fun.
I mean, that would make sense. He comes up once they make an adjustment to him, then a good player is going to adjust back. And I feel like Lee has the bat to ball skills and like the knowledge of the zone to do that.
Can I just be a fan and tell you how you Lee's go ahead 2-run double when he got fired up on the base pass? I just love how fired up that dude gets. Just the fan in me was I love this guy in that moment. I do think that if he can stick and make an impact on the roster, he could be a quick fan favorite. He plays with a ton of emotion, and I really do enjoy seeing how you Lee just smack the ball real hard. Sometimes right to the outfielder, and sometimes he hits it out. But just makes me feel good.
I liked him. I remember liking him back when I watched him in AAA. I don't know if everybody saw the scouting report that I tweeted out about him the other day, which is funny because that was one of the first scouting reports I ever did. That was practice. But I look back and I was like, wow, I super off base, but I liked him.
No, yeah, I retweeted that.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, just for a second.
You're good. I retweeted that because I thought it's very interesting when you can let people in on the process there and see what you saw, and it's fun to look back. I sometimes I go back and look at scouting reports of people we wrote 3-4 years ago and go, well, got that one right. Or also
something I would love to see from him too that I included in that scouting report was the base running, because I feel like he has instincts on the bases. He can steal. I feel like that's something we're probably going to get from Max Clark, but I feel like I would like to see it from Lee because we know he has the speed.
Yeah,
and the instincts.
Stole 22 last year, 16 the year before. Yeah, I mean he's faster than you would think because he's kind of like a fire hydrant. But yeah, Raj and I have talked about him a lot. We pay a lot of attention to him in the minors, and he just, the more you watch him, the more you like him. And I need to go back and find it. I haven't been able to because we've always he's the guy we put money on to be the next Tiger to charge the mound because
I can see it.
He got ejected from a game, I remember, and he tried to fight the entire team. He was yelling at their dugout, trying to yeah. I was like, this is
in Toledo.
Crazy. No, it was in Erie, I think. I need to go back and find it because it was so much fun. But yeah,
I love a crazy player. I love it. You got to be a little crazy.
It's emotional, passionate. I love it, and I mean, I don't think the body type matters with stolen bases. I mean, Josh Naylor stole 30 bases last year. That will be a fact I remember forever. Just you look at that guy, and I feel like I have a similar build to that dude, and I'm just like, he stole how many?
Yeah.
You could give me 100 tries, and I would never steal a single base ever. So they called me the Red Blur.
Instincts are a big part of stealing bases too. Like it's not, I feel like it's not all about speed, but you have to be able to, get a good read. You have to know when to run, how to run, create a lane for yourself. Like that it's not all, I mean, you can be fast and get thrown out on the bases just because you don't have that instinct. You don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, Matt Vierling has always had plus pure speed, like by sprint speed, but he never steals any bases because it's just not part of his game. Like the instincts aren't there, which is a bummer. It's like, why are you wasting all this good speed? But yeah.
I can't even as somebody who watches a ton of Tigers baseball, is it weird that I can't even picture a guy being a prolific base stealer? Stealing bases is just not something I feel like I ever see in a Tigers uniform. And it's you can't even say that it's one front office philosophy or one manager's philosophy, because it's been the last several managers, going back to Leland, even granted that team just didn't have any speed really. Outside of Austin Jackson. Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Pretty much Austin Jackson and no one else, but they still didn't really steal bases. Yeah, Quentin Berry. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, Austin Jackson was another guy who was fast, but it manifested a lot more on defense than it did. I don't think he ever stole more than 28 bases or so. The Quentin Berry, they had Rajay for a little while. He was stealing bases.
I forgot about
I think Anthony Ghost, I think, stole some bases. But yeah, generally speaking, they're not. Who was Robbie Grossman? I think was 2020, right? That was. Oh
my God!
I remember having a conversation with a scout, and I remember getting run times on a lot of guys and being like, "Are these incorrect?" Because a lot of them were 35, 40, 45 runners. I'm like, am I doing this wrong? Because you got to learn how to use a stopwatch. He's like, no, most guys just are not good runners. And I think that that's something that we think of, right? That baseball players would probably be fast runners. Mm-hmm. But not everyone's an athlete, and not a lot of people are even average runners, which is, I guess, something that I never even realized. But I guess it kind of makes sense.
I'm looking at it. In the last decade, they've had one person steal 20 bases in a year, and it was Robbie Grossman.
Huh.
Wow.
But dude had 18.
I think we'll get it from Max Clark, though. I think that that's a big part of his game, and I think we're going to get stolen bases from Clark when he comes up.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so Austin Jackson, he had 27 stolen bases in his rookie year, 22 in his sophomore year, and then 20 the year the Tigers traded him in 2014. And that was it. That was his 20 plus. And then after that, he did kind of nothing. Seemed like the years.
Did Santiago steal bases? I feel like he did for some reason. Sorry, I'll look it up. Sorry, I
don't know if he played enough games. Maybe in his first couple of years.
He didn't really get on base enough to steal bases, did he?
I'm
sorry. He's a great coach, but
there are literally only 15 Tiger seasons in the last decade with double-digit steals. Yeah. Going back to Justin Upton in 2017, had 10. McGonigal's one of them this year. He's got 11. He's 14th.
Yeah, he got thrown out for the first time the other day.
Zach McKinstry 3 times. Nico Goodrum 3 times. Javi once.
I definitely agree. I think Kevin can be a 20 steal guy too. I mean, it's not that he doesn't have the speed. He does. He's an above average runner, but he's got the instincts. He really, really has the instincts.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, I don't know if there's a green light per se, or, when you're at the top of the lineup, you maybe don't want to, kill a rally. They were, they seem like they were pushing the envelope today, though. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I would like to see. I do think there'll be years where McGonigal is putting up 2020 seasons. So it's. I keep bringing that up, but he hasn't really even gotten close to his ceiling.
Nah, I think he still has room to add strength, and he's already strong.
Yeah, he's 21. I think that I can't wait to see how casual fans look at him in a couple of years, because I don't really think people realize just the foundation that is here right now in a rookie 21-year-old season. I feel like we say this every week, and I don't care. I'm going to say it every week forever until he's gone. And we got what 10 years on that deal, so we got 10 years of talking about it. I will live with that.
Mm-hmm. But so,
sorry,
nice
looking
win.
at Ramon Santiago, he did have. Oh my God, I lost it. He had 10 stolen bases once. In 2003.
In 2003. Oh, okay.
Great
I don't
year
know
for the
why I
Tigers.
thought he was fast.
He never had more than 3 otherwise. So
He seemed like he should be fast. He's a shortstop. Should be fast.
Right.
They aren't always.
But again, as like a Tigers fan most of my life, I don't even really know what a good base stealer is. And I just remember the Quentin Berry stuff when I wasn't like as into the Tigers. I just remember being told all day, every day that he was garbage, and then he was cut, like 50 games into the 10 years, whatever it was. So, that was
He was
short.
the best pinch runner there ever was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he won a World Series with Boston, didn't he?
I believe
Did
so,
he?
yeah.
I think so.
Was it 2013?
That sounds right. Yeah, the year that
I think they won in 2013, I think.
Yeah, and they did because they beat the Tigers in the ALCS.
We don't want to talk about that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
It looks.
I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, it looks like Rajay Davis, 36 steals in 2014, and then he went on to invent the sliding glove or whatever, but he didn't get credit for it. Little oven mitt.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think he created that, and then somebody else turned it into like something that they could sell.
Hey, got a patent it.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, like I don't know. I was just kind of like, I don't mean to like take a sharp left turn here, but how are you guys looking? Like, I don't think we've ever really like directly talked about this. What do you guys think is going to happen with the rest of this Tigers season? There's a lot of like what you want to happen. There's a lot of like in a perfect world situation, but like brutal honesty, I'm just like curious what your guys' pulse is on the season is and like really what you think is going to happen. I'm just curious.
Well, I do feel like this, it really does feel like they're going to go into the trade deadline looking pretty good because they're playing a bunch of Garbo teams, right?
Yeah.
But then they have, like, I have this feeling that they're going to, think that they're doing well and they can compete. And so they either add or, they do some minor additions or minor trades. And then they come out right after the trade deadline. I think they have like a 10-game road trip that is like out west. And it just feels, it's like the Mariners. It just feels to me like they could, right after the trade deadline, fall apart and then be like, whoops, we should have traded people. So that's my fear.
Curious to see what the Mariners do at the trade deadline because I feel like they're a team who usually always does pretty well at the trade deadline. I think Randy Arozarena probably being their best acquisition in the last couple of years, but it seems like they always make quite a few moves. Last year, especially, they were aggressive. And I feel like the American League is so like bad this year that you get one team that's aggressive enough and makes the right moves. Like, I think they could run with it. Like, I really do. I don't feel like the Tigers are going to be like super aggressive. But you get a team like the Yankees who has a good deadline. Like, to me, that's like, you're almost like a lock, or like the Rays who have a good deadline. The American League, again, being as bad as it is, one of these teams who has the talent and just needs the right pieces. I feel like they could run with the league.
So, like, I just want to add some. So you keep saying how bad the AL is. So, like, the record to get into to the wild card is only 2 fewer wins in the AL than it is the NL. So, like, it's caught up drastically, and part of it is because Boston is on a run, and New York and Cleveland. And Cleveland's been fighting it out with Chicago for the division lead, but since they're so close together, they've had that second wild card spot. So I don't really think, like, I just think that the narrative is kind of changing in that, like, 3 weeks ago, it was, you don't even need to be 500 to make the playoffs in the AL. I think that we need to get realistic and realize you're probably going to need to have an over 500 record to make the AL.
Oh, you are.
Well, but like 3 weeks ago, we didn't think that. We were like, there is a very real possibility that you could be 1 to 2 games under 500 and make the playoffs in the AL. It looked really
To
real
be-
before the Boston started. You know what I mean?
I think too, looking at the West, so there's 6 teams right now that are 500 or over. Looking at the West, the Rangers are sitting right at 500 and they're leading that division. Then we have the White Sox, the Guardians, and the the Twins are not. Have the White Sox and the Guardians who are both over 500, which like decent teams. Okay. And then you have the Rays, the Yankees, and then now Boston, who's over 500. So I guess when I say that they're bad, it's in comparison to like the NL, because obviously I feel like most of the talent lies in the NL.
I just think the NL is more top heavy. But like my point is, it is so muddled, and like just looking at the teams above them, you have the Houston Astros, who, by all accounts, the way that I'm kind of hearing, everything I've heard is about them selling. The funny thing is they have the longest win streak in the AL right now at 3 games.
Oh, really?
Which is hilarious to see. I think that's the longest win streak in baseball right now is 3 games. It is. That's fun. But I've heard that they're going to sell. Baltimore, I have no faith in whatsoever. And then Minnesota, I have no faith in whatsoever, which, like, I don't care if Minnesota wins the World Series. I'll be convinced I'm in a coma and it's a dream, because I don't understand how you can sell 13 players and be better than you were. I just don't get it. But that we could spend a whole bunch of time on that. My point is, you have those 3 teams ahead of you that I'm not really confident in, but that creates a logjam with some of the teams you mentioned. You're looking at 3 spots for the Mariners, Red Sox, Guardians, Yankees, and I guess because I'm being a little bit of a homer just to make my point, the Tigers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's enough time for the Tigers to be able to separate themselves in that pack. I just think this run started too late, and I do think what's ultimately going to happen, and I think they're going to piss the fan base off. I think they're going to end up standing mostly pat. I think it's going to piss me off quite a bit too. But this isn't a team that's trying to rebuild anything. Somebody said sell everybody that isn't McGonigal, Green, Dingler. They're not at a point where they're trying to tear things down. They have like almost no contracts out past 2 years right now. I think I should pull this up, but outside of Framber Valdez, they have like almost no salary tied up after 2027. So like, I just don't know if there's nothing to really tear down. You keep the cheap players, and like, I just don't agree with that.
Yeah, I keep coming back to Houston doing that. Like you were saying, like they're closer to win the division than the Tigers are.
Right.
But like, I feel like most of their players are getting close to either, Altuve's kind of aging out and the rest of the guys are getting close to free agency, and they don't really have, like, their one good player is Cam Smith, and he's just kind of okay. Like, he's still figuring things out. They have Hunter Brown, but he's like, if they want to trade him, he could be one of the best guys in the market. Jeremy Pena would be a perfect fit for the Tigers in my mind. But I don't know how you get him. I don't know. Somebody is going to decide to sell and probably do okay, because I think there are going to be a lot of teams that are just making smaller moves. And the Tigers may very well pull the old, like, well, you're getting Jackson Jobe back and Javi Baez.
Right.
And that's like a trade deadline in itself.
Or come right down to the wire like they did last year.
Yeah. But I don't know. Well, see, it's going to be like, it really is kind of fascinating in a way that like there's so many different teams that are so close that some people are going to go all in. Like I could picture the Pirates not going all in, but like going pretty hard at some people because the recent history of the franchise. But I don't know if the Tigers are going to be like that.
I could see the White Sox plugging some holes too. I'm not saying be super aggressive and get the top guys on the market, but like the White Sox have not had a year like this in a long time. I feel like their farm system's in good standing. I don't think they're going to do anything to compromise that, but I could see them making more moves than others.
Yeah, and like, I don't think they're going to trade like Noah Schultz or whatever, but maybe that would be a situation. I think Hunter Brown has 2 more years after this year. Like, you go get him, you trade Noah Schultz or something. Like I could see them doing that, right? Like, get a guy who has multiple years of control. I think that's a good point. That's another team that seems like they should be aggressive, but not necessarily like, going all in. But they have the chips to be able to be aggressive and not, mortgage the future. Big train coming.
Right. I'm just that poor division. I mean, the Cardinals look like they're kind of running out of steam. But those poor Reds, man, like it just feels like no matter what they do, they're fifth in the division or fourth with the Pirates. So
I was kind of pouring over their roster to see who might be tradable. I know Spencer Steer has been brought up a bunch. I was like, I wonder, would you buy low on Matt McClain? Would they sell low on Matt McClain? And then like, who else is interesting there from a pitching perspective? I don't know.
But yeah, so we're looking at so we got to finish looking ahead at the rest of this week here. I mean, really, because we're gonna have to hit the trade deadline super hard going into the next week's show. The Tigers, Chris mentioned, they have a crap schedule leading in, which we always kind of had a feeling would kind of influence a little bit what they ultimately did. You're looking at 3 more games against a Bobby Witt-less Kansas City team, and Maikel Garcia's on the IL, which I didn't even realize. So by far their 2 best players are not playing for them. That is why I legit thought if they lost that game today, like season's over. Like
This should be a very winnable series. Yeah,
they should sweep. I do legitimately think they need to sweep. But then you've got Baltimore at home, and then you take on the Athletics on the road, going into the off day on Monday, August 3rd, which is the trade deadline. Like Athletics have been by far the worst team in baseball for about 4 or 5 weeks now. Yeah. I think the run differential in that time is like minus 190 or something like insane like that. They fell off a cliff. And Baltimore is, I mean, a little bit of team like the Tigers. They had a young core. They brought them all up. They made some free agent decisions that did not work out. And then some of the young guys didn't get any better than they were the rookie years. So like the Tigers are kind of looking at the Baltimore series as like, hey, this could be what we turn out if we just keep doing nothing. I don't know. These 3 series are huge.
Yeah.
Baltimore's 1 game ahead of the Tigers right now. Like I think, right. So like anytime you get a chance to, like, remember that last time they played the A's, they were behind the A's in the standings. So anytime you get a chance to take somebody on head to head who's ahead of you, it's a good opportunity. I do feel like they are too Tigers-ish that for the Tigers to really, feel good about winning that series. But yeah, and when I was looking at the West Coast swing, I wasn't considering that. Yeah, it's the A's, the Mariners, and then the Giants, who aren't terribly good either. But I feel like the Tigers don't play very well out there in San Francisco.
It's true. I mean,
I did see that they had the second easiest schedule for the rest of the season.
Yeah, they get to I'm sorry. I'm just I'm skimming in my head, and I obviously can't talk and skim at the same time. That was awful. Anyway, but I mean, yeah. So like, I really do. I need them to be at 500 or above by the trade deadline for me to really have any faith, and that's why I think this sweep of what should be a pretty terrible Kansas City team is like the most important way to start it off. You go into that Baltimore series needing a series or, needing a sweep to get back above 500. I don't know. That changes the trajectory of your entire season. Now, what are you watching for? I want to make sure I put a caveat. I do not think this team is winning a World Series. I don't think they could add enough. Like there's not enough that they could add that I feel like this is a World Series roster, but I also don't feel like that's what they're going for right now. If they were going all in, we would see all in moves. They're shaping a roster. They're shaping a roster that they believe can go to the playoffs, and they're going to see what's going to happen. I think that that's ultimately going to be their goal. But there's so many teams. Boston winning 15 in a row, unless the Tigers have something like that in them. This is going to be like the 24 season where I think it's going to go down to the last week. I really do.
I can see that happening for sure. I feel like too, because of the month in May that they had, unfortunately, instead of just being like, we need to keep winning series, we need to be sweeping series. Like if they seriously want to get themselves back into a spot where they're contending for a wild card, like they need to be sweeping, which is very, very, very hard to do.
Yeah, and because, bad baseball teams win 70 games still. They win 70, so, that's a lot of games.
Yeah.
So, but, I really do want to see 2 sweeps in the next 3 series for me to like really feel like I believe in them again. Which sounds nuts, but man, it's what you have to do if you're going to want to make this move.
Yeah, I mean,
I could say at least. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Ashley.
I was just gonna say if we could at least take like, I'll say 3 out of 4 from the Royals, sweep the A's, 2 out of 3 from Seattle, maybe sweep the Giants. That would be because Seattle is not the best team, but like they have a lot of talent. They have a lot of talent, and I feel like you could find ways to lose to them, whereas like the A's and the Giants are going to be easier teams to sweep if they're going to.
Tigers found ways to lose them last year.
Yeah, they sure did.
I mean, there's 9 games left until the deadline, so they have to go 7-2 to get to 500, which is daunting but doable, especially if they can sweep this Royal series, right? Then that's suddenly you need to go 4-2. It's possible. Do it though. Got to go out there and do it. Skubal has to pitch like Skubal can, and everybody else needs to keep doing it. I think Troy Melton has had some bouts of wildness that are a little bit uncharacteristic and a little bit hittable, but he's definitely still kind of like a bulldog out there, like a Zen bulldog. Like I don't know how to describe it. He just seems to get through trouble for the most part.
That first inning today was terrifying, and you're right. He got through it, bases loaded, didn't even matter. We didn't spend too much time on the Skubal comments, Skubal anything. I know that's maybe something we maybe want to touch on before we get out of here, but he is pitching. That is the next. So the pitching matchups, we have Skubal versus Cameron. God save me. I'm not really sure who that is, but then we have
Noah Cameron. Is that it?
I'm so sorry.
Noah
Cameron. I'm not familiar with the back end of the Kansas City Royals rotation. My apologies. Then we got Waka on and Mize after that. Holy crap, lost my train of thought. My apologies.
You're talking about Skubal.
Right, Skubal. Oh, goodness. So with Skubal, he's pitching tomorrow. He's pitching maybe one more time. He is the scheduled starter for the Tigers' last home game before the trade deadline. And he made some comments. So a couple things that have come out in the last week. He first, so he said in an athletic report that I don't know if hid is the right word, but he was not completely honest with what was going on with his elbow, supposedly before he ended up going on the IL, and some fans are not happy with that. And I know that Chris was watching the comments that he made today, right before the show. So I just figured to maybe bring that up and see if you guys wanted to address it too.
Yeah, I didn't get all the way through them. The odd thing to me is that I actually saw Chris McCoskey tweeted about Skubal saying this, that he knew something was wrong in January a month ago. He tweeted, that's when Skubal said it. And I guess it took Cody kind of writing an article and connecting the dots for everybody, and everybody go, wait a minute. There's a lot of online radio caller anger about it that they screwed. But ultimately, it's just like, it's not our money, right? Like, it's just, he didn't want to disclose the injury because they were in an arbitration fight. And it was we talked about that so much. It was bigger than just Skubal and the Tigers, right? It was Players Union versus baseball. And so, yeah, he wasn't going to try to do anything to jeopardize. And even if he had, right, if he'd said, you know what, I've got a little elbow thing, they examined it and they said, oh, you're going to need a little procedure. I still think he might have gotten awarded the $32 million because, you miss a month, you're only worth $25 million, and the Tigers came with 19. So, I don't think they would have won. But it is, I think Cody did a great job of summing up this kind of weird storm around Skubal. It's been there all year, and I had completely blocked out the Team USA World Baseball Classic sort of nonsense too, where people were all upset at him for not pitching again. It's like, oh yeah,
I didn't understand that at all. Why people were upset with him.
But yeah, there's been a multiple little tiny firestorms, and I don't get it.
I mean, Skubal chews a piece of gum, and people are going to ask him why he's not chewing a different flavor. Like, that's kind of where we're at right now. I will play devil's advocate a little bit and say, he kind of has nobody to blame but himself in a lot of ways. Like, you can say, oh, he says he wants to be here, but you don't sign an agent who has literally let one single player not hit free agency in his entire agent career and make those kinds of comments. Like Skubal he doesn't like get assigned Scott Boras as his agent, you know, like you don't fall into it. You got to make those kinds of choices. So I just think that when he's making these kinds of comments, it kind of seems like he is a bit oblivious to some things. Maybe he's not being completely truthful, but I just feel like sometimes he's not fully aware of like the microscope that he's under. And it's kind of why people are now. I'm not justifying it. I'm kind of just want to bring up a different side of this, but like he did kind of dig himself into some of these holes, you know?
I don't see the anger with him at all. At the end of the day, I would honestly equate it more to like channel your rage toward an owner who's not going to pay him instead of channeling your rage toward him. He probably does want to be here. I mean, think of it like, okay, if I have a job here in Detroit at a company that I love my boss, I love my coworkers, but I get offered a job in another city with a lower cost of living, let's say, and I have to do what's right for my family, right? So like, I can sit here and say like, yes, I want to be with this company. I want to be here. I love it here. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what's best for me and I'm going to do what's best for my family. I'm not upset with him at all for that. I understand people getting mad, but I don't know.
But again, like he's not being completely truthful, whether he realizes it or not, when he's saying that he wants to stay with Detroit after this year. Because my whole point that I was just trying to say is that by hiring Scott Boras, you have to accept and you should know that literally is not going to happen. Your agent's not going to let it happen. That's my whole point with that. Is you could say, oh yeah, he's got to do best for his family. There is not a single situation where he was going to sign here. And I feel like some fans don't even realize that like there was never in a million years he wasn't going to hit free agency. Like that's, you know, so
I get that, but like I'm just saying, I'm sure he does want to stay. I'm sure he does like it here. I don't think he hates it here, and he's like, I can't wait to get out of here. Like,
no, but those aren't the two options.
He's just saying what he's feeling, like
right, but it feels disingenuous, is all I mean. And again, I don't really know how much I believe this, but I understand that part of it. I understand feeling like it's a facade, like it's a fake face he puts on, so that because he wants fans to like him, when ultimately he knows he's leaving to go get more money somewhere else. I don't know.
I mean, Boras has been his agent since he was drafted. Like,
right.
You know, because Scott Boras' scouts are better than any team scouts. No offense to any scouts out there. But so, yeah, and you're absolutely right. Like, he was never, ever, ever not going to free agency. Like, in that you could argue that the Tigers should have traded him in the offseason, at the deadline last year, 2 years ago, whatever. But it's been a tightrope to walk for everybody because you want to win. Skubal gives you the best chance to win. And you feel like you have a decent enough core that even if he leaves, right, that you could still compete. It's just it's a tough one from all sides. I think
it's a hard spotlight to be under too, because if you don't talk to the media, people are going to get mad. If you do talk to the media, people are going to get mad. People are going to analyze your words. Like, I don't know. I just think it's unnecessary scrutiny for somebody who's done what he's done for this organization.
Well, it's a coping mechanism too. Definitely people are learning to cope. The easiest way to cope with losing somebody like this, convince yourself you hated him all along. So that's what you're seeing right now. Like,
it's true.
I do think, that Skubal, in retrospect, probably should not have said this.
Yeah, probably
saved him a lot of grief if he said like, "Oh, it's good." But
right.
But yeah, we keep talking. Like, just to finish the point, we said this I think a billion times before that no matter what the Tigers offer, Tigers could offer him 10 years and $500 million. That just becomes the first bid in the free agency war for Tarik Skubal. It doesn't like he's not going to sign it. Boras won't let him. And again, it's bigger than Skubal. He wants to do this. I'm sure he wants it for himself, but he wants to do it for the next players. He wants it for Schemes and Mizorowski and everybody else because he's a strong union man. I think he's on the labor relations board or whatever. So, yeah, it just I don't know. we'll see what happens.
But at the end of the day, he doesn't hit free agency. Like, obviously, because we know Boris's clients don't hit free agency. The Tigers could make a bid at him, but they're not going to because they're not going to pay him. So I don't see how that equates to like everybody getting mad at him as opposed to getting mad at Illich because he won't pay him. Like,
you stole my thunder. That was the point I was going to end on, Chris, and that's a great. I'm glad you. No, I'm just glad Chris brought it up. Is that, and this was kind of with the arbitration thing too. This is bigger than Skubal. The arbitration thing was bigger than Skubal. The arbitration thing for Skubal was to create and set a new precedent for arbitration money, and now you're looking at him seeing a situation where he could become the highest paid pitcher in history. That is for the future of baseball players, and I do think that there is a factor in that, and that is bigger than him, and I do think that that's worth mentioning. So I'm glad you brought that up, Chris. But at bat, I'm sure we're going to spend most of next week's show talking about Skubal. Will he stay or will he go? But we'll wrap up the show at bat. Thank you guys so much for watching us. We've got a lot's got to happen in the next week. There's going to be a lot of interesting baseball. It starts with the Skubal start tomorrow. But for Ashley and Chris, I am Mike Papchak. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a good night.
Stay close, everybody.